Good evening and welcome to Edessa the Dark Crusade Season 2. Tonight, we have a scene that starts with Madeline returning to her haven after doing some business. Usual bit of business. Um, so it's been some time. She's just gonna check on Thorvald and just, make sure that her haven is in order, everything is good. And, yeah, you might also have something she needs to talk to Torvald about. She hasn't really decided yet, not fully. She's probably not going to take it well, but she's been keeping it off for some time now.
When you walk into the Haven, you can hear Thorwald and Gutria in another room. They sound like they're in light conversation.
Hmm. Yeah, and Madeline comes in.
Thorwald's wearing he's dressed differently. He's wearing like brown leather, and Gutria's holding what looks like a sort of cloak out for him to put on. You recognise this sort of stuff as his hunting gear, like when he goes to the woods.
Hmm.
You also notice that she's wearing a shawl, which you know that he bought for her from the market. And she's holding his cloak for him as he he's got his back to you at the moment.
Hmm. Huh. The two of you relaxing.
Guthrie is helping me prepare for my evening hunt.
Hmm. Perhaps I should join you. Of course, it's not always I get to see the countryside, and I do believe I should be in the company of you or some other gangrel, lest I would risk breaching domain.
He turns around, he turns his head over his shoulder to look at her. His hair has been tied back into sort of a neat braid. Looks a bit neater than he probably could have managed. If you wish.
Guthria, are you pampering him? Guthrie will probably just look at her and just probably nod, I'm guessing.
Well, it's your NPC. I'm guessing she, whether she would answer or not, is up to
Madeline
you.
can guess good enough. And fair enough. I do believe we can both go. Been hmm, Guthria, please. Uh, you can spend the night as you wish. Take a night off your studies. And Guthrie just nods and seems pleased. And Madeline will just say, shall we go?
Thorvald, when Guthrie has finished with the cloak and she's been dismissed, Thorvald will kiss her on the forehead as she leaves the room. When Guthrie moves up the way, you do see that the dog is sat in the corner of the room, just sort of looking at Madeline calmly. I don't know, just the way that dogs look at you, and that sort of like I'm looking into your soul way.
Mm. Madeline
So
doesn't pet the dog, but she does approve of it being accustomed to kindred.
Thorvald turns around and he puts a little sort of hand axe on his belt in replacement of his usual sword. Shall we go then?
Let us.
He whistles and the dog follows. And he'll make his way out.
And the two will make the journey. It will take an hour probably to begin to get to like to get out of the city and just begin to get truly into the wild.
During the walk, you notice that the Thorvald commands the dog with a series of whistles and sounds, and the dog occasionally disappears into the brush, and it will come back a couple of times with a rabbit or small creature, whatever they have native to the land.
Hmm.
Which Thorvald puts on a kind of line and slings over his shoulder. Why did you want to come to the Wilds to talk?
Well, I have news. News that are not perhaps not the best of news. And as much as you are in control, well, certain things are not meant for our kind and small enclosed spaces. Just a precaution. I do not think it would be a problem. Johanna has left the city. In fear of many of us, she gave me an account of what happened, but she is gone.
I'm going to roll manipulation subterfuge.
Love you or what? That's a good roll. And Madeline fails. Oh, she actually has one success because I think my specialty applies, but yeah.
Thor doesn't seem to react.
Oh, she continues and just says, well, you gave us some information, but it is clear that she has left the city. Her ties now to the Inferno, and with what had happened to, well, what has happened in regards to her clanmate and her close association with it leaves her very vulnerable to any inquiries, punishments, more likely.
He doesn't seem all that. He's quite stoic to her. Conversation. He doesn't seem like he reacts in any particular way.
Madeline's just watching for a reaction, and she doesn't get one. She just seems to be very content. Just nods, smiles. This, well, perhaps not solves anything, but removes one problem from our current situation.
I never saw Johanna as a problem.
Problem is perhaps not the best word, but liability. Anyone being able to, well, not being able to, anyone that a demon has full ability to take over and do whatever it did to us. I consider, if not a problem, a quite significant liability to my well-being and those around me's well-being.
I don't know anything about demons, but couldn't it do that to any of us?
She made a pact with it.
You see him sort of clench his jaw.
I would perhaps not call it her fault. The situation was understandably confusing, chaotic. She mistook, and honestly, from the situation and the people involved, quite reasonably assumed one thing, that it was another kindred communicating with her through the mind, which some of us are capable of, which
I've heard.
makes it a fair assessment. However, it was the demon that communicated with her and offered her a deal. She, in her mind, accepted. She admitted as much to me in a letter I received.
He
And
smirked.
this was the way it could overtake her, and be more than a match for four of our number, five.
I find it interesting that you bring me to the woods to discuss this thing that you think I may not be able to handle, and yet you have so many other secrets from me.
Of course I have. Some would call it in our nature to have secrets from each other.
He looks at her.
Would you not expect me to?
Sometimes you ask a lot of me, Madeline.
I know. That is partly why I do it. To make you the best that you can be. Also, would you not hold secrets from a person you know to be bloodbound to someone else?
Not about my siren, you know it.
She might want to know something of me that I not wish her to know. You might not want to tell her, but I know the blood bond. I know the strength of it.
My sire has no interest in you.
It's good to know.
If she did, you'd probably be dead already.
Why? Interesting.
Thorwald looks noticeably pissed off.
Tell
You
me,
you kind of you see this sort of slightly unfamiliar hardening of his eyes.
Madeline just smiles, really. Just says, tell me, what secrets is it that you hold for me? That I hold for you? And why does it anger you? In what ways does it anger you, I wonder?
The other night in Omar's shop, when you and Irene were talking, so many things were said that I had no idea of. And these things are not things that would impact my sire in any way. And yet you keep these things to yourself. In a couple of nights' time, we're going to be going to an unknown part of the city to face something that we don't know anything about.
I know.
Or you probably know something about it, and I don't. And I don't like to feel stupid. Not even by the woman I love.
I trust you. You do know that, don't you? Here is the problem. We might be facing more infernal threats. I do not know the whole picture, but I do know that some of these people are involved who would be a point of interest. And secrets should be held very close to the chest when these things are involved. Again, they might be more powerful than me. I might not be able to hold their secrets. The fact that I know some of these secrets are a liability to me and others already. It is what I spoke with her about is really quite trivial matter, but I have sworn not to tell anyone, so I have not told anyone. When it becomes less pressing, which will happen quite soon, a week, two, I will tell you.
He sighs.
It is a rather personal thing, relevant to Irene.
It just makes me feel
Betrayed?
no. You always talk about how you want me to be your equal to grow strength, but it doesn't make me feel that way. I know
Then
people in the
I
city
must. Go
think
ahead,
me.
go ahead.
He says, I know people in the city think no more of me than is your trained dog. And maybe that's what I am. But I'd like to feel like I'm more than that to you sometimes.
Oh, you are. But consider two things. Perhaps I want you to be mistrustful. A little of me. Perhaps I wish for you to start, instead of thinking as your enemies as someone that is someone to be broken down who is clearly visible on the other side of the fighting pit or on the other side of a courtroom or the person who openly speaks towards you. Maybe I am testing you. Perhaps I want you to see hidden motives, even the people closest to you. This would be hard. It would put your faith in me to the test. It might hurt you, it might hurt me, but it will also help you to see the threats that are very, very hard to spot if one is more used to one's enemies coming straight for one. Secondly, while I might not have displayed you much as a more than a guard dog, have you considered it might be a very good thing if people think of you as a guard dog. If they truly understood your cunning, your ability to put ambushes, and actually truly overpower most of them, let's be honest, would that make you more in the center of their mind, which become more a focus of their ire, or less? Why do you think I spent so much time flaunting my feminine side, seemingly interested in copulating with people? That makes them think that this is my focus.
The Tremere called you a witch.
Hmm. Well, my clan is. Hmm. Let's set aside the very ironical part of a wizard, in lack of a better word, saying that to a person who has nowhere near the magical potential that he does. But yes, obtenebration can be seen as sorcery, as much as their own discipline can.
I understand why we must keep appearances to others in the court. Why lies and deceit and secrets are important to those outside of our circle.
There are things I have not told you. That much is true. But I have never lied to you.
I'm going to pee any of that.
I will not roll because I am. Well, correct me if I'm wrong. I actually don't think Madeline has ever lied to him. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, she doesn't. She seems to be fairly earnest, at least in her own opinion. You might, of course, have a different opinion than her. That she said something that might be neglecting so many things that it's not like. But in her mind, she hasn't lied. Correct me if I'm wrong. That might be me miss. I mean, I could, out of character, forget something that it was obviously a lie, and then I will roll, of course.
I know whatever it is that is happening under the city holds meaning to you, and you will be going there.
Do you remember the sign that was described by the Nosferatu Primogen?
Yes,
It is the mark of Lilith, my dark mother. I must investigate.
I know. I saw as much in your eyes even before. I knew what the sign meant.
Soon it will mean a lot for you too, which is why I am quite happy to take you along.
I wasn't going to give you a choice about taking me along.
And she smiles a bit. Now, like she hasn't been smiling, she's been quite serious, but she smiles a bit and she just says, "Well, you would have to have given me quite a good reason not to come along." Her serious face returns. Do you have questions that I have not answered? Some of them I will not be able to answer you at this moment. Some of them might, if you think I have heard things from you. Please.
I'm not sure whether what we're going into is a trap.
Neither am I.
But regardless of what the situation is, there's nothing that would sway me from coming with you. I believe that our paths are entwined now.
I have certain preparations I can do. That will make it an ambush a bit harder. Some might say impossible.
I used to have a simple life. He scoffs.
Do you regret it?
No. But sometimes I feel unequipped to deal with turmoil that some of these thoughts bring me.
Yet another lesson to learn. To well, adjust to all new situations like this.
Did you really think that I felt so strongly for Johanna that I would rage at the thought of her leaving the city?
No. But she just
I'm not gonna pity that. Not
no,
pity.
and you can be any,
He
but
doesn't
she's
mean
not
it.
lying. But you will actually, it will probably more apply to it. She actually looks down a bit, and you can P&E that as well with that roll you're making, if you're making a roll. Are you rolling or oh you left? Okay, intermission. Okay, intermission is over. I didn't see you leave. There we go.
She looks down a bit.
She looks down. Actually, looks away a bit, and you can roll if you want to.
I'm going to.
I and meanwhile she will just say, "I sorry, I should have trusted you more than this, of course. I am. I have just seen your strength before, and we have just moved to another place. There is no reason to. I should have trusted you, of course.
Wow, what a terrible roll.
Yeah, but actually, I would say that given this, you have 3 successes. The difficulty is actually one lower at
Is
this
it?
point. Yes, because Madeline is not hiding this because she was just confronted with something, and I am. I can. I think I can choose to lower the difficulty to spot it. She seems embarrassed or ashamed of something.
He steps. He sort of. They've been walking, I imagine, side by side at this point, but he
Hmm.
stops and he turns towards her.
But let us continue. I it was stupid of me.
He reaches out and cups her face with his hand, lifting her chin.
I have in my younger days. The beast had its way with me a couple of times for the simplest of reasons, the stupidest of reasons, and I. She actually looks embarrassed almost as she's saying this. I I know you are in more control than I was at your age. I am silly.
I wouldn't hurt you.
I know. As I said, I was silly. I should have told you.
I saw Johanna before she left, before she wrote you the message.
Interesting. One moment.
intermission, tense moment. La 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 la.
And I'm back.
Mm-hmm.
You saw her? Did she come to you? Did you see her by chance?
She came to me. As you've been walking, you notice now that you're in kind of a clearing. It's surrounded by quite dense, thick woodland. It's a small clearing. We met here. And she told me of her plans to leave the city. And we bid each other farewell. He smirks. Sometimes I wonder about the irony of a woman that instructs me to take other women to bed, and yet is moved to these insecurities.
Security? Why? Would you elaborate?
I'd be lying to you if I said that Johanna held no meaning to me. I cared for her. Loved her as my friend. And I'd be lying to you if I could say that my sorrow didn't hold any meaning to me. But I cannot trust the feelings I have for my sire, as I know they're reinforced by blood.
I know.
He looks kind of like he wants to say something else, but he's swallowing it for the moment.
Madeline just seems to just fiddle with some of the leaves at the foliage around here. He just waits. Just seems to wait for you to continue.
I love you, Madeline, as organically as I can, under the circumstances of my creation. And there is no shadows or secrets in that.
I know. I have felt it. I did tell you some time ago that when I was Ulrich, I respected him. I worked with him. Many men have been with me. Some were pleasant, most were not. Other kindred, irradiating powers of the blood to make you swoon. But you have done nothing other than being you, other than showing the power of yourself. You have taken me as a neonate. I do not have any bounds of the blood. I have no one else in my mind. No one fills my mind as much as you. Honestly, cannot tell why. Perhaps it is love. I know. I knew for the first 60 years of my undead existence that love would never be something I would ever feel. I only felt it once, truly, in my mortal days. But I do think I feel it. I do think I love you as well. You soothe my beast. You help me control it. You give me challenges. Teach me things. I teach you. And you are like me in upbringing. Somewhat. I cannot deny it.
It's a strange paradox. You bring out the side of me that's good and powerful. Help me hone my abilities, show my true worth. And yet, sometimes I do bring out the worst of my pettiness and my vindictiveness.
And is that not what love is? Extremely soothing for the soul, but yet painful, almost unbearable at times. I have heard it described 100, 1,000 ways. That seems to be one of its defining characteristics. That dualism of tremendous pleasure and almost imaginable pain.
Perhaps you are teaching me things. More than I bargained for when I first signed up for this.
Well, I do believe that is mutual.
He laughs. He sort of breaks into a sort of, I don't know whether it's a nervous laugh or I tried to pamper Guccio despite you.
Hmm.
My affections for her are quite different. As twisted as it may sound, she's almost like a daughter to me.
Hmm. That would be looked down upon, what we did, in most civil society. If that is how you feel, of course.
So I wish to nurture her as you do, to teach her,
Good.
but also to protect her. I cannot do both. I don't
One day,
sometimes.
not in the foreseeable future, but one day, she will join us. She will become one of us.
You're planning her for the embrace.
The embrace is not the purpose, not the goal, simply a step.
Nods.
As to me, it does not matter if you are embraced or not. You can always learn. The only thing that I truly cannot work with is entitled people, spoiled people who have not seen the world for what it is.
You should meet my sister. He smiles.
I think not. I would not appreciate it, I believe.
If there was ever a person that could meet that description, it's Lucretia.
Hmm.
She's been wrapped up in silk and satin since birth, given only the best, protected from all the violence and chaos of my sire. She only sees my sire's gentility, or what gentility my sire can muster.
Now
We are
that,
in contrast.
that is her loss. Well, my love, and she just smiles to you. I do believe we can call each other that now. Or is there a formal declaration? I cannot remember. She smiles as she just seems to mock thinking about something. What is the formal etiquette? It is, I now declare, no, no. She comes over and does a mock bow to you.
He he doesn't headbutt her. That's kind of like the wrong terminology. But he does sort of like forcibly put his forehead against hers.
Oh, and now oh, well, should probably stop this before it gets any worse. She just smiles. She says to him,
You were the one in the church.
oh, I know. No. One thing you must promise me, though. We will never get married, and we will not get married in a church. Please. I implore you, Baptiste. She just seems, she actually seems fairly serious, and she's just like, oh God, like just the thought seems to just irk her.
He he does one of those very. He grins and he chuckles like sort of with devilment.
Oh, no, no, no.
No. I don't believe we need God to sanction our union. Perhaps the mother. But we'll have her answer soon enough.
Of that, I can approve. Mm. Mm.
He looks back to Odessa. It's eerily quiet. I wish someone would make a move, almost, to break the tense
She
silence.
goes over to him. He just now she places a hand on his face. Shh. Come. Like in this clearing, she will just have him sit down, and she will sit down like in front of him, just with her back to his. Can you hold me?
He puts his arms around her. The only real sound is that the dog softly sort of pads around the clearing, but disappears off for a few minutes. Seems to have found something else of interest.
For once, I do not believe I want to discuss politics. I must admit I wanted to be the first one to say what you said to me moments ago, but I will settle for this. But I ask of you, can we sit and enjoy this moment for now?
He kisses the top of her head, saying nothing.
The two will sit there and just maybe watch Odessa, maybe just.
Watch it as a burn.
Well, for the moment, they don't say anything. Madeline won't move. She'll just sit there and she just, like, has, like, her hands just around his legs, I think. Or just touching his legs, maybe. Or maybe her elbows just resting on his legs since they're rather big and long compared to her. As she just sits there and seems to really enjoy the sensation of just being held. Just this. And as the two sit there for quite some time, I believe that this is the moment we will end our scene. Thank you very much, players, for playing, and watchers for watching. Good night.